Hi, ladies. It's Lassa here, and I'm just going to share a super powerful tool that I created for my clients to help them hit their macros. Because you will see that it can be a little bit challenging in the beginning to nail your macros. And if you don't nail your macros, it's a little bit hard to know when to make adjustments and how things are going. So, we're really aiming for consistency. And if you can incorporate this tool into your life, then you will be more consistent and your results will be a little bit clearer to understand. So let's get started. So basically, what it is pre logging. So you're going to be thinking about what you're going to eat tomorrow and pre logging it into your logging app. I use my Fitness Pal, but you can play around with whatever. Um, and if you go into your day knowing exactly what you'll eat and when you'll eat it, you will be more successful, guaranteed. It just takes the guesswork out. And if you're hungry, you already have a plan. So you can just stick to your plan. Chances are, hopefully you'll do the grocery shopping for the plans that you make and you'll have all that stuff on hand, possibly even prepped. And it's going to make it so much easier than just winging it. And so as you become more adept at tracking macros, it'll get easier and you won't always have to pre-log your food. But as you start the journey, consider it just as important as brushing your teeth each night. I truly believe that. I mean, now that I'm in my journey for years, I definitely do not have to pre-log. And when I'm at maintenance, I don't even have to track. But in the very beginning and the stages that you are at right now, pre-logging is going to be a lifesaver for you. So I recommend, just because it can be a bit overwhelming, just set a timer for 20 minutes and pre-plan the next day. It will not always take you 20 minutes. It probably takes me like 6 minutes a day, and I just do it in little spurts. But in the beginning, just to get while you're rusty and getting practice, just prepare to spend around 20 minutes doing it the night before. And here are some tips. And here's so I'm going to show you my 5-step program, and then there's a tip at the end. Okay, so step one is you're going to map your meals and schedule your snacks. So you're going to just do a little thinking here. How many meals do you like to have each day? Are you like a 3 meal, 2 snack kind of person like me? Or do you have 2 meals and 3 snacks? It's just figure out what you like. Um, and then, just be realistic. Do you need a snack in the afternoon for pick me up? Then you want to schedule that in. You want to be realistic here. You're not trying to win any medals by eating the least. You're actually trying to eat the most and still have your plan be effective. So think about that. Just it doesn't matter how many meals you decide to eat. The most important thing is that you establish a meal schedule that works for you. So, step one, write down I want 3 lunches and 2 snacks or whatever it is. So, step two is going to be make room for your must haves. And this step is going to help you stay on plan. So, this could be a dinner out with your husband, it could be your nightly treat, or your post workout froyo that is just a non negotiable. So, think about what these things are for you. And I suggest having one fun treat at some point in your day. And this is a food that probably wouldn't be considered healthy, but it's something you look forward to eating. So, when I'm in a cut, get these little ice cream bars. They're like a frozen yogurt bar that I eat every night. And it's just something to look forward to. It's not too expensive in the calories and fats and carbs, but it keeps me feeling satiated and like I'm, enjoying my plan. So I would consider allocating up to 20% of your daily calories to this treat. Some people, it's going to be popcorn. For some people, like just whatever your thing is, just make sure that you think about that and you put it into your plan. So the point is to make this process as enjoyable as possible and making room for treats, making them part of your plan from the get go instead of a cheat that has to be fixed. It allows you to stick to the plan and succeed. So you're going to plug that treat into your tracking app first. Then you'll be able to look forward to it and savor every bite. It'll be accounted for. You can build the rest of the plan around that. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so now you have done step one. You sort of know what you're going to eat the next day. You're going to have 3 meals and 2 snacks. You can even do some math with that and divide out approximately like how many calories to allocate per meal, or you can just sort of wing it, as I'll show you. Step two you're actually entering into your tracking app, your non-negotiable, whatever it is. Pick your thing and track it. And then you're going to have the remaining calories and macros to divvy up over the rest of the day. So step 3 is to prioritize your protein. So hitting your protein goal will likely be your biggest challenge initially, particularly if you have never ever paid attention to protein before. So I would suggest dividing your protein goal by the number of meals and snacks you'll be eating, and then you're going to end up with a goal per meal. So this could look like your protein goal could be 130 grams. You're going to divide it by 4, which would be the 3 meals and a snack. And then that equals your goal is to have 32.5 grams of protein for each meal. I hope that makes sense. So then you're going to pick, so now you know what your goal is for each meal. Now you're going to pick a protein source when you plan your meals. So this could be like, okay, for dinner, I'm going to have chicken. For lunch, I'm have some like deli ham. For breakfast, I'll have eggs and egg whites. And I'll have yogurt, Greek yogurt for my snack. So you have your proteins picked out and you can enter them into your food app first. Does that make sense? So for your dinner, you're going to be like, I'm going to have 6 ounces of chicken breast, and you enter it in. And then, so you keep entering just your protein. So at this point, your tracking app is going to look bonkers. It's not going to have full meals or anything like that. It's just going to have the protein and the treat. So step 4, now you're going to calculate the carbs and factor in fat. So you've planned out your protein, your treats in there. Now you're going to go back to each meal and snack and decide on sources of carbs and fats that'll work well with your protein. And you're going to add them into your food diary. So for the dinner examples, right now, all you have sitting in there is your 6 ounces of chicken, and you're going to have that with some rice. So you can enter that in, and some broccoli or whatever. So now you have your dinner. Now you'll go through and you'll do that for lunch. Okay, so your ham, you're going to have it with some cheese in a wrap with the lettuce, and you're just going to build your meals and add in your fats and your carbs and the rest of the things you'll be eating. So now you will have everything you plan to eat in there, and it might not look perfect. So this is where you can go through and you can adjust things up or down. So working with one macro at a time. So you'll have a look and you'll be like, okay, so my protein is still out for the day. I'm still need 10 more grams. So instead of thinking of something else to eat, just adjust the protein you've already picked in there. So maybe for your lunch, you're going to need to add another 30 grams of ham. And then you'll see, okay, well, that increased it a little bit. I just need a little bit more. And now you can go to your snack and you can add a few more grams of yogurt until you hit that number. And now your protein's going to be perfect, but you can look and you might see, oh, okay, protein is good, but my fats are way over. So you're going to go through and you're going to find places where you can reduce fat. So that might be like, oh, I'll reduce the cheese in my ham and cheese wrap, or I will, you'll find another spot where you have fat added in that you can reduce, and then your fat will be pretty good. And then you are going to do the same for carbs, and you're going to just go through and you're going to see where it makes sense to either increase or decrease the amount. And that is how you'll do it. So if you pre-plan and you put everything in and then you actually play around with it, you can get pretty darn close. And then the next step is the following day to just follow your plan. Okay, so let's see. I went off track here. So remember, this is about progress, not perfection. And in time, you'll be able to pre-log your day in less than 5 minutes. Totally promise that. And relying on the same meals for several days in a row can help to streamline the process. So you'll see in most apps, there's a copy to from feature. So if you have the same breakfast, and then you can just go and find copy to the next day. So you can just keep adding things that you eat all the time. It gets pretty easy. Okay, so that is how that is done. And I promise you, if you use this process, you will be hitting your macros in no time. So here's just a little bonus tip for you because I know life is not always the way we plan it, right? There's some wild cards out there. There's a lunch out or a dinner out, or, what are we supposed to do? But for some people, it is really just the dinner. Like they are at home and they're in control of their lunch and their breakfast, and then dinner maybe it's just always like hard to know what's happening. So you can actually adjust the way your day looks in MyFitnessPal. So it's just we're looking at a 24-hour period. So you don't have to start with breakfast. You could start with yesterday's dinner. Could be the first meal you log, and then you could do your dessert and then the following day's breakfast and lunch. And that way you get that wild card out of the way and you can adjust your breakfast and lunch more easily to hit your macros. So you can even change the name in MyFitnessPal of, you can change the name. Right now it's set up as breakfast is your first meal, but you can go in and change that. So it says yesterday's dinner and you can see that little graphic there. So I'm going to include the slides for you so you can download these and have them in case it's easier for you to read it. And what I am saying makes no sense. Then you can go through and read this information yourself and digest it and put it into play. Okay, you got this.